9 years. That's the amount of time that's passed ever since I discovered this game, and the series as a whole. It baffles me every time I think about it. I felt like it's finally time for me to start talking about the series in depth. And I know it's really weird to start at Runner, since it's the 4th game in chronological order. But this is also my first game in the series, so it felt proper to start here. And afterwards anyway, I'm going to go through Beat and Core, and then so on next. So we'll go back to the real timeline. Anyway, let's begin with the story. The story of this game is basic yet admirable. Commander Veo continues his journey through a galaxy, and furthering his growth after learning empathy and friendship in the previous game. The goal is Commander Veo's exploration of the world and meeting more friends and acquaintances. My favorite part of the story are definitely Timbletot and its world building. Timbletot is introduced as an antagonist that teaches Commander Veo that not everyone is good, and hate is often spread, but that's also an eerie reflection of real life too. Anyway, the dynamic of Commander Veo and Timbletot is also really well done in my opinion. Timbletot truly solidifies himself as an antagonist for the rest of the series going forward, with him creating more mechs and obstacles in an attempt to stop Commander Veo in future games. The world building of this game also helps reflect Timbletot, with the world becoming progressively more mechanized and abandoned as the game continues. Commander Veo himself also gets much more of a display of his personality through some of the cutscenes. His impatience and excitement to keep moving is his most defining trait, when he is stopped by a stoplight and waits while the transition theme from Bitter Beat plays. God, I love this game's fan service. Another important trait that will become increasingly more important later is his desire for peace and love. I'll go more into that during the Fate retrospective, because that's when it becomes really important, when the rivalry between Timbletot and Commander Veo continues. From the beginning, this game does an amazing job at establishing the player's goal of getting to the end of the level and collecting all the cores and gold along the way. At the beginning of the game, Commander Veo can only jump over obstacles, but he gains the ability to slide, kick, and use springs over the course of Impetus, the first world. All these commands are easy to execute individually, but the real challenge is switching between them in rapid succession to continue the song. Depending on the obstacles of the course, the levels themselves also teach you how to execute these commands by giving you different situations in which to use them so that the player can learn how to use them themselves. It doesn't need a paragraph of text to tell you how to use each move. It just names the move and shows you a button input. A key factor is that each move is linked to one or few specific obstacles, so you can easily assume that certain moves works against a certain obstacle even if you've never seen it before. The level 110, End of the Beginning, is a great example of a level that truly tests what the player has learned thus far, and is very rewarding afterward. The thing is that this isn't the last level of World 1, and there's one last hurdle to tackle before the boss, and it rears its ugly, disgusting head. 93 gold? No way, man. I must be seeing it wrong. Wait, where's the Mega Core? Wait, that's... Oh, Lord. That was my exact reaction when I first played this game all those years ago. I was in denial. The longest level in the game was just before my eyes, and I just had to beat it to get to the first boss? Well, you see, it's not that simple. I didn't mention the lack of them for no reason yet. But if you bonk in this game, you're forced back to the beginning of the level, no matter how long or tedious it is. On a level like this, it's extremely demoralizing and frustrating sometimes, and I have way too much patience for games like this now. I can't imagine how other players felt at this level. Just imagine this. You're in the zone and perfectly dodging everything in your way, heartbeat going crazy. You're almost there, and you miss a single jump. That's a minute of your life you just lost instantly, and you gotta do it all again. Now look at it from the perspective of a person who just discovered and just started playing the game. Their reaction is most likely way worse. The worst part is not even how hard this level is, but just where it's placed in the game. At this point, you're still just getting used to the process of certain obstacle placements and jumps, and then the game just throws hell at you. If Odyssey was in the second or third world, I would enjoy it a lot more, and even consider it fun sometimes. Video games are supposed to be fun, right? Currently, Odyssey says no to that. Odyssey just feels like padding because of the short length of the game, and that's pretty sad. I honestly believe a lot of people quit the game after encountering this level because it's definitely not for everyone. Let's get back on track, shall we? After facing physical pain in the level, you encounter the villain of the series himself, McGraw Timbletot. This fight is pretty fun, all things considered. I just really don't have much stuff to say about this fight, especially because it's basic and pretty simple, all things considered. It's just kick him a few times, dodge some obstacles, but generally the bosses in the series have basic patterns and obstacles anyway, so you won't really come to the series for bosses alone. But it's still memorable for Timbletot's sheer presence alone, telling you that adversity can come from anywhere. The best way I can describe this world is as a breath of relief. You're truly free, and enter this energetic, mysterious, bizarre, and especially grooving world. Seriously, this might be my favorite world in terms of raw energy in its music. The mining factory environment of this world is really interesting as well, with obstacles becoming more mechanical and automated. Some of the new mechanics introduced in this level also help foreshadow the last world, with the flying beats and moving springs respectively. The difficulty increases naturally, and each level also feels much more satisfying because of that. Aside from the last levels here, there isn't really much to talk about besides the boss, because I feel I summarized this world pretty well enough already. If I had to describe Non-Trotsky, the best thing I had to say is that he exists? Yeah, that's really it. He's not important in the grand scheme of the story and is only referenced in a pun of a name and of a song that appears in Runner 3. The fight itself feels too repetitive for my taste. I'm just happy it's shorter in exchange. Similarly, this boss is also really simple, only using spring jumps, normal jumps, and slides. It's unfortunate that this guy is forgotten. He really could have appeared later as some sort of extra cameo, but he doesn't, and never really appears in the series ever again. So, let's end this adventure. Immediately, this place has an almost aggressive, yet saddening tone shift. A damaged, seemingly abandoned city. Bleak buildings and soulless machines. This is melancholy at its finest, and the music drives the feeling home even more, having heavier emphasis on piano, a lack of energy, and a lingering sense of loss throughout. The loss is that of the energy from the previous world. The main theme of Triumph is a remix of the main theme that feels so purely sad, in a good way. The bounciness of old is gone, and paradise lost. Perhaps it describes the feeling of triumph after completing each level, which is perfectly fitting, because this is the hardest part of the game. You have to be much more precise than before to move throughout this city. More obstacles will appear than usual, more intense slide jump rhythms appear in the gauntlet onwards. And to up the ante of it all, a new ability is introduced here too. The beat paddle from Bit Trip Beats. See why I told you I love the fan service in this series so much? The new formations of obstacles do a really great job of testing the player's skill up to that point, and each level makes you feel like you keep getting closer to the grand finale. It's beautifully done, really. I used to hate the final main level of the game, Rusty Warren, but now I appreciate and respect it heavily. The only real reason I hated it was because I wasn't good enough, and for 3 years I gave up. I met my real roadblock. But when I retried the game after that span of time, I was more mature and patient, more precise, and And I thought after all that time, after I beat it, I thought of bongs more as a teaching lesson rather than a failure. It felt amazing when I finally did it. It was like that feeling, like there was this one nagging thing I had to do for that 3 years. But when I finally did it, that feeling went away. And I had one level to go, to the end. I had to meet Timbletot on its own terms. Although this is labeled as a boss fight, I don't see it as an actual fight. I see it more as a final chase to conclude the story. All of your previous friends helped you by quite literally lifting you up to make you stronger. And when you land that final hit and defeat him, it feels so amazing. Timbletot's finally gone. For now, at least. But that's a story for another day. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to continue this with the Retrospective series, because it means so much to me. I know I talked about flaws as well, and no game or game designer is truly perfect, and that's okay. I love this game to death anyway, so it doesn't matter that much to me. By the way, I didn't mention the retro levels, because I personally felt they were so minimal in the grand scheme of things, that I didn't need to mention them. I know they're hell for completionists, though. Anyway, please subscribe if you haven't. It means a lot. Like too, and all that jazz. Anyway, ESF1, out.